Hello, my name is Lance Gloss, Senior Planner with the City of Grand Junction Community Development Department. Here we have a request by H&M Trust to rezone 4 properties from PD, or Planned Development, to R8, or Residential 8 dwelling units per acre, located at 585 North Grand Falls Court, A, B, C, and D, comprising 0.7 acres. Here you can see an aerial view of the site with the area highlighted. And here you can see the property lines of the 4 properties here along North Grand Falls Court, Grand Falls Drive, and 28 1/4 Road. Here you can see it in its larger context. These 4 properties at 585 North Grand Falls Court were created by the 1994 subdivision plat for the Falls Village subdivision, itself a replat of the 1983 subdivision plat for the Falls Filing 3 subdivision. That was the 3rd filing in the Falls subdivision, the first of which was filed in 1973. The entire Falls subdivision was developed under PD, or Planned Development zoning, which closely approximated the R8 zone district's density. However, the PD zoning is substantially less flexible than the R4 zoning under request. Specifically, a PD is designed to provide for unique design elements that will suit the goals of a particular project. However, it requires a more careful analysis when the plan is to change. For example, in 1996, these 4 subject properties were considered under City File Number MC-96-146 for a minor change in the location of the driveway access. The options before the applicant in this request were to update the PD with a new plan, given that the 1996 update had expired, or to rezone to a straight zone such as R8, which is their request. Here you can see the elements of the falls that are largely still zoned PD, as well as adjacent zoning of R8 and R5 to the west. The parcel immediately to the north was rezoned R8 approximately 1 year ago and had formerly been in the Falls subdivision as well. Here you can see an excerpt from the city's future land use map from the 2021 Grand Junction Comprehensive Plan, which designates these sites for residential medium development. R8, which is the aim of this request, is a zone district that applies under the residential medium designation. In order to rezone a property and pursuant to section 21.02.140 of the Grand Junction Municipal Code, at least one of the following criteria must be found to be met. The first criterion is that subsequent events have invalidated the original premises and findings. The existing zoning for these properties is PD, or Planned Development, without an approved or valid plan. This PD closely approximates R8, or Residential 8 dwelling units per acre. The PD zoning that was applied to these properties has not been updated since 1996 and no longer provides for development rights on these properties, as approvals have lapsed. As discussed in the background, the purpose of the PD zone district is to introduce design flexibility to achieve unique design goals. In staff's analysis, there are no unique elements of this small project that would warrant PD zoning. Moreover, the lapsing of the approved plan itself represents an event that may establish new premises for zoning. Therefore, staff finds that this criterion is met. The second criterion is that the character and/or condition of the area has changed such that the amendment is consistent with the plan. The character and condition of the immediate area of the Falls development has not changed substantially in recent years. The Falls continues to exist as a planned development without a current plan. However, in the broader vicinity, there continues to be residential growth to the east, west, and north of the site, making development of these infill properties more appropriate now than in the past few decades. The character of the broader area is now primarily residential, rather than undeveloped as it was several decades ago when the plan was enacted, owing to the development of medium-density residences, including single-family attached homes, on approximately 3/4 of all properties within 1,000 feet of the subject properties. The rezone to R8 is also consistent with the plan in that it meets the established goals of the comprehensive plan to provide housing for a range of types and densities, and to focus infill development that makes efficient use of zoning, public facilities, and services. Therefore, staff finds that this criterion is met. The third criterion is that public and community facilities are adequate to serve the type and scope of land use proposed. The subject property is well served by public and community facilities. The transportation network in the vicinity of the subject properties is well developed. with the exception of adequate sidewalk not being found adjacent to the subject properties on the west side of North Grand Falls Court. The site has access to arterial roads as well as to bicycle-friendly facilities. Grand Valley Transit bus stops can be readily accessed along Patterson Road and Orchard Avenue. Public and private utilities are also available, as well as Ute water available in North Grand Falls Court. There is overall no appreciable utility deficiency to the site, and therefore staff finds this criterion is also met. The fourth criterion is that an inadequate supply of suitably designated land is available in the community, as defined by the presiding body, to accommodate the proposed land use. The city is broadly in need of medium-density residential zoning if it is to accommodate anticipated growth in population while retaining housing accessibility. Infill, of which these properties are a prime example, is a central strategy for meeting housing needs as outlined in the 2020 One Grand Junction Comprehensive Plan. The Comprehensive Plan explicitly identifies the relative lack of land suitable for the density of quote-unquote missing middle housing, which includes the types of attached dwellings for which these lots would be suitable if rezoned to R8. Thus, while rezoning to R8, while R8 zoning is not entirely uncommon in the city, more R8 zoning is considered necessary in order to meet the housing demand. And the fifth criterion, that the community or area as defined by the presiding body will derive benefits from the proposed amendment. PD zoning as currently exists can have many benefits to the community, especially when it is used to achieve specific design goals. However, the same feature of PD zoning, the ability to tailor it to a project's specific needs, can present a challenge when the property's use or configuration is contemplated to change. Moreover, it is particularly challenging to develop a property under PD zoning that has lapsed because it no longer has development rights associated with it due to that lapse. Leaving the existing PD zoning in place thus effectively prevents the development of the subject properties. Rezoning to R8 would provide for the development of these properties, which is not possible in current zoning, but which is necessary to meet the city's housing provision goals. Thus, staff finds that this criterion is met. Turning to the findings of fact, staff finds that more than one of the applicable review criteria in section 21.02.140A of the Grand Junction Zoning and Development Code have been met, and staff finds that the requested rezone is consistent with the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan. Thus, staff recommends approval of the request.